Okay, time to get started. Let's begin by busting some of those misconceptions or some of the myths about couponing in general. One of the most common ones that I've seen is couponing's not for me, I don't really need to do it. Couponing is for people who are poor, people who have no money, people who are broke. People who have money, they don't need a coupon, they can do whatever they want, it doesn't really matter. And I can't tell you how absolutely wrong that is. According to a survey done just a few years ago, almost 50% of people who make $150,000 or more a year use coupons at least 50 times per year, and that number is growing exponentially all the time. There are a number of people who are incredibly wealthy who still use coupons. One of my favorite examples, Warren Buffett, arguably the greatest investor of the 20th century. The man is one of the richest men in the world with billions upon billions of dollars. He still uses coupons. There are countless celebrities and incredibly rich and famous people who are not above using coupons. I've always been a big advocate of making money is easy. Anybody can do that. Knowing how to spend your money, that's what makes the biggest difference in whether or not you're able to acquire long-term wealth. So, regardless if you are in a low income bracket or you find yourself very financially set, couponing is just a way to put more money in your pocket. If I offer you two products that are the exact same, and I say, would you like to buy it for $20 or would you like to buy it for $10? I don't care how much money you make, you're foolish if you choose to pay more money for the exact same product. That's what couponing allows you to do. It allows you, regardless of your income level, to save money and subsequently be able to give more back to other people. And we're going to go over that in a little bit later course. So, don't think that you're above couponing just because you're not in a low income bracket. It's a great way to make your dollar go much, much further, which just simply allows you to have even more money to do even more things. That being said, let's go on to one of the other big myths that I've seen that people have about couponing. They say, oh, I don't want to do that because those couponers, they're just hoarders. They buy all kinds of stuff that they absolutely don't need. Well, there are plenty of people out there who do that because they've got a limited mindset that they have to have more all the time. However, some of these people who buy a lot of these products, it's not because they want to have so much of it or because they feel the need for it. Sometimes you actually get paid to buy some of these products depending on how you work it out. The other times you might buy them at a killer deal simply because it allows you to give back. I can't tell you how many opportunities I've had to give things like toothpaste and laundry detergent and deodorant and things like that to a bunch of very needy people, more or less, people who can't get this for themselves. That being said, you don't have to be a hoarder. You can get just enough to cover what you and your family want and need. That's totally fine. And actually, really a good idea to stock up on some of that stuff. So don't feel like you have to be a hoarder in order to be a couponer. You can coupon without going over the top and being completely extreme with it. Now I've had other people say, you know what, I just don't really feel comfortable with couponing because if I do it properly, then the stores take the hit and I don't want them to have to lose money. Well, that's another thing that you need to understand, is that if you take a coupon into a store, the store doesn't take a hit on that. In fact, the manufacturer reimburses the store for whatever the coupon amount is, and on average about an additional 8 cents. So in a lot of situations, these stores actually make more money when you use a coupon because they get, if it's a 50-cent coupon, they get that 50 cents back plus an extra 8 cents on top of it. Even a lot of the employees don't realize that that's how this works. So in a lot of these situations, the store is actually going to make more money when you use the coupons. In some instances, they'll just break even. They're just happy to have you in the store. So don't ever think that you're taking away from an establishment just because you're using coupons. Okay, here's another big myth that I've heard. Oh, couponing is only for junk food. There's nothing healthy that you can possibly get when you coupon. Well, don't get me wrong. There are a lot of unhealthy things that are out there with your couponing aspects and whatnot. However, you're going to be surprised at the amount of deals you can get on things like fresh produce, that you can get on meat. I know a lot of people who they've always eaten a certain type of potato chip or something like that, only to find a healthier version that a coupon will allow them to do. What happens with a lot of coupons is these companies come out with products, or they've got a new line of something, or maybe they just want you to try whatever it is they've got new, so they'll give you a few dollars off on fresh produce if you buy this product so that you pair them together. Maybe they just want to give you something where you're going to get it for free because they're going to hope you're going to come back to it later on. There are so many things that are healthy that I just don't pay for anymore. I can't tell you the last time I paid for Greek yogurt, something that's incredibly healthy for you. I get it for free all the time. I get meat at a dramatically discounted price. I get tons of fresh produce at a discounted price. There are so many healthy snacks as well that go into that, or healthy meals. So don't assume that it's only unhealthy stuff that you find coupons for. Admittedly, you'll find stuff for unhealthy stuff more often than some of the healthier things, but the healthy stuff is out there, you just have to look for it. And that doesn't even factor in some of the things like deodorant, toothpaste, laundry detergent, Kleenex, things that you're going to buy anyway that have nothing to do with food. There's tons and tons of coupons out there for that as well. So, just because there's a coupon for it doesn't mean it's unhealthy. Let's move on to the next major myth that needs to be busted. And that is, I can't do this, it's going to take hours. It's a full-time job to coupon. Again, there are people out there who do turn this into a full-time thing, and it's what they do, and they map everything out to a T. Personally, I don't have the kind of time to do that. I have got a pretty full boat as it is, so I need to be able to do all my couponing and get all these phenomenal deals in as short a time as humanly possible. And I'm going to teach you how to do that, because truthfully, anymore, there are so many resources out there that will do the majority of the work for you that you can do this so fast. I spend maybe an hour, sometimes 2 hours a week doing the couponing stuff, but that includes my trips to the grocery stores, which I'm going to spend a good chunk of that time anyway. I have found a way that I can break it down and get very, very specific results, get the information that I need, and map things out in an incredibly fast time frame. Now, some of you might be saying, I don't have an additional even 2 hours a week. Well, you can do it faster, just depending on the kind of return you get. But let me ask you this. Could you find an additional hour or 2 hours in the week to do this if it was going to save you $300, $400, $500 or more? 2 hours for $500. I don't know if you make over $250 an hour. If you do, that's awesome. If you don't, still a pretty good investment of your time. So, know that there are faster ways to do this. There are people who go more in depth to get more and more deals, and that's totally fine, but I'm going to explain to you how I do it in a much shorter period as we go through this whole process. Now, let's talk about yet another myth that needs to be busted. I've had people say to me, you know what, Grant, I buy store brand stuff simply because it's always cheaper than the name brand. You know, I understand where you're coming from, because at face value it seems that way. However, some of these big manufacturers, they give you all kinds of discounts and incentives that make it dramatically less than the price of going to the store to get the store brand. Almost everything I buy is name brand anymore. Not because I say, oh, I have to have name brand, simply because I'm getting a better deal on most of that stuff. Now, periodically, to compete, the stores will do discounts on their own products, on their own store brands, and you can get those at a great price as well. But if you are looking properly and you know where to look, you're actually going to find that more often than not, the name brand stuff, you're going to get a better deal on it as long as you're shopping correctly. Now, here's another myth that kind of goes on the other end of the spectrum. People see the kind of money that I save on my couponing trips, and some of them are better than others, admittedly. I'd say on average I save anywhere from 70 to 80% of my grocery bill. Sometimes it's as low as 60, sometimes it's as high as making money. It just depends. So I've had people say, well, that sounds great, Grant. Here's my grocery list. Will you do my shopping for me and save me 70%? That is not how it works. You don't simply make your grocery list and then decide you're going to save all this money on the products that you're going to buy. The products you buy depend on what's going on sale. So, that being said, you're going to find that most of the time, when you start couponing, you're going to save a little bit of money at first, because you're still going to need to be buying some of the things that you normally purchase and whatnot. But as you continue to do this over a period of time, and you start to stock up on certain things, you're going to realize you save more and more and more, because the things you would normally have eaten this week, or the things that you need to normally get, you will already have a back stock of that you'll be replenishing as you go further on. If you need laundry detergent today, and there is no sale on laundry detergent with coupons today, then you're going to have to buy it at pretty close to regular price. However, if it goes on sale next week, and you're able to pick up 4 or 5 things of laundry detergent for the price of one, the next time you need it and it's not on sale, you're already going to have it. So, realize that the longer you do this, the more momentum that you're going to build. You don't simply say, I'm just going to start saving money on everything tomorrow. It is a process. I want you to be aware of that. Don't get frustrated, and know that any little bit of money that you can save is a great place to start. That leads into the next major myth that I want to get totally out of the way as far as when it comes to couponing. And that is that all couponers are greedy. They're those people that just clear the shelves, and I don't want to be that greedy person. Now, that's not necessarily true at all. We're going to talk about some of the ethical things to do when you coupon and whatnot, but truthfully, a lot of the couponers I know are some of the most generous people you will ever come across. They are so excited and they want to give back, and I'm hoping that you're that kind of person too, because that's the general community. Now, there are a few bad eggs out there who absolutely just want more for themselves? Absolutely. I'm not going to pretend for a second that there aren't. However, I want you to get past the idea that you have to be one of those people, because that 2% of the population that does this, that's not the norm. Most people want to be able to give back. They want to be able to contribute. And like I said, I hope you're one of those people as well. Now, the last thing that I want to get past, the last myth I want to dispel, is that it's always best to buy in bulk. Because if you look at it, you say, wow, the unit price is much lower if I buy more of this at one point in time, so I must go that route. Now, there are some instances where that's true. However, oftentimes with couponing, it's actually smarter to buy in smaller quantities. Not always, but most of the time. As we get into some of the different coupons and how to stack and how to double, we'll go into a little bit more detail with this. But by utilizing the smaller quantities, you're usually able to use more coupons per transaction. You're allowed to save yourself a lot more time, a lot more money, because you're just doing it in bigger spans with smaller amounts. So buying in bulk is not always better. Now, here's the last myth that I wanted to dispel. People have this idea that couponers are always a pain in the butt. They're that person who gets up to the cash register and has this huge stack of coupons, and they're fighting with the cashier, and that they always have to have it their way and things of that nature. And that's a negative stigma that comes with the couponing. Well, we're going to teach you how to make sure that your coupons are organized so you're not that person who's a major pain in the butt. We're also going to explain what some of the etiquette things are and rules with general stores and things like that, so that when you go up there, a lot of these people, if you talk to the right ones, are excited to see you. They are excited to see the kind of deals and stuff you're getting. I can't tell you how many cashiers have been blown away by the price I pay when I go to cash out at the end of my grocery trip, and they want to know how I've done this, and I give them a couple of tips and their day just lights up. They really, really like to see this stuff. Again, there are some cashiers out there who don't understand it, and they think that the store's being cheated and whatnot. That happens, and I'm going to teach you in a later section of the course how to deal with those people when they come up, because they inevitably will. You're going to understand better though. So that could happen. However, just because you're couponing does not mean you have to be the person at the front of the line that everybody hates. So those are some of the common myths about couponing. I don't want you to fall to be one of the fatal victims who starts to believe all that stuff, and then it puts you off to this concept. Because truthfully, again, I cannot express how valuable this is and how much you can save yourself and your family and other people you haven't even met yet by utilizing this. So any of the negative stigmas you have about couponing, dispel them right now. If you've got more myths that you've heard or questions or things of that nature, please submit those questions to us, and we will be more than happy to address them and make sure that everyone is perfectly clear. I'm sure there are a ton more that we haven't even begun to touch on, but those are some of the major ones. If you've got additional, please send them to us and we'll go from there. Now, we've discussed some of those different myths. Let's actually get into where are we supposed to find all these coupons. That's coming up in the next course.